All right. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. 48 First Alert meteorologist Eric Burke. Just about 10:30. Hope you're having a great day so far. Appreciate you joining us for Weather Extra. What we're tracking this morning, we had a few showers across the area. We had one strong storm. It was right on the state line between northwest Georgia and northeast Alabama. Wasn't severe like we had yesterday afternoon, but we did see some gusty winds with it, about 30 miles per hour. And just looking at the radar imagery this morning, during the start of the morning newscast, probably would estimate maybe some pea-sized hail coming out of that. Now we go to the current radar, and it's the same center of low pressure. We've been talking about this cutoff low, stationary low, whatever you want to call it. This thing has been bothering us for several days now. Well, good news. I think this is the last day of really dealing with significant impacts from that low. It's going to continue to track off to the northeast, bringing wet weather to the mid-Atlantic up to the northeast for the next several days. So it will be their problem, but we still have to get through today, and that is what we're going to be tracking here, not only as we go through Weather Extra, but also as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. Another day we are anticipating some scattered showers and storms. Some of these storms could be strong to marginally severe. I know meteorologist Jeff Denoyer was tracking all of that for you yesterday, keeping an eye on the wind and the hail threat, and that's exactly what we're looking at today. This is the radar right now, though. We're actually using the Columbus, Mississippi radar out there at the Air Force Base, just because it's picking up a bit more on the widespread shower activity. And I'm going to show you that. Then we're going to kind of bounce around and show you some of the other shower activity that's not necessarily being picked up by the Columbus, Mississippi radar. So let's get right to it. I'm going to bounce over to High Top really quick because we actually have quite a bit of scattered coverage through portions of Lincoln County into Moore as well as Franklin County. Healthy downpours right now moving through the Chattanooga metro area and into portions of far northwest Alabama. That's your next view through Jackson County, right over the county line into extreme northern DeKalb County, right along Interstate 59. And then you've got I-75 there out toward Dalton, Georgia. Things tracking to the northeast there. And yesterday, the showers and storms were almost moving due north, south to north, because of where the low is positioned. Well, because that low meandered a bit overnight into this morning, now we're kind of on the backside. So these showers will actually be moving more like west-northwest to east to southeast, and then these are moving southwest to northeast. So the low is almost directly north of us, and with that counterclockwise rotation around the low, this is what you're going to get, just kind of a closer look. Good morning to anyone watching in the Henniger area or watching later on. I know a lot of you don't actually watch this live, but I show you the live data, obviously. Now let's bounce over to where we got some more widespread rain, and this is along and south of Interstate 22 out toward Amory, for example. You've got the Hamilton area, you've got Double Springs there into Marion, Winston County. That's all just rainfall at this time. Not seeing a ton of lightning with that, if any. Some peaks of blue sky, but it will be a day with more cloud cover than sunshine. I know we were lucky enough to squeeze out some sun yesterday, and our temperatures warmed up into the mid to upper 70s. Today, I think we're going to settle for low to mid 70s, especially if we see more of these showers popping up. You don't only get the cloud cover with the showers, you get some of that rain cool there. But a nice look at I-65 in Athens, at least showing that there is some sunshine peeking through. Then we go into northwest Alabama. You've got Wilson Lake, Wilson Dam. They're a bit more mostly cloudy to overcast there. 70 degrees right now, northwest Alabama Regional Airport. Same exact forecast as what we had yesterday. I really didn't have to change too many graphics. Kind of adjusted a few things just for time purposes, but for the most part, that sweet spot of afternoon showers and storms will be that most unstable part of the day, that being the early afternoon, continuing through the evening commute, and then wrapping up around sunset once we kind of lose our daytime heating and the atmosphere gets just a touch more stable. But still the potential of some strong to marginally severe storms, no different than yesterday. Forecasting some gusty winds. Any storms that are collapsing could get those stronger wind gusts. Threat for heavy rainfall, frequent cloud ground lightning. These pop-up storms, very electrical in nature. And then we have that hail threat too. And I know a few storms did end up going severe with that severe warning. I'm not sure if we had confirmed reports of quarter size or larger hail, but those storms were going out with the severe thunderstorm warning because of that threat for the larger hail, 1 inch in diameter or larger. So your typical storm threats today, that's basically what we're looking at, copycat forecast of yesterday. So let's go through it hour by hour. Future radar, this is that graph model. And I know yesterday I said, I think it's overdone as far as the storm coverage. Well, it actually ended up being really spot on. And so we're going to go with that again, seeing little break in the cloud cover for areas east of I-65. Everyone else kind of mostly cloudy to overcast, but it's actually doing a good job picking up on that cluster of showers that I showed you along I-22. So let's go through the rest of the day today. This is going to be noon, and we're still tracking some periods of showers, but I think we're going to hold off those stronger storms until we warm up a bit more. Upper 60s, low 70s there at 2:30. Now this is also factoring in some of that rain cooled air. But the storms you're looking at right now on the model data, this is when we would have those storms producing that wind and hail threat. Continuing a bit more hit and miss, maybe widely scattered today versus the more kind of widespread coverage we had. But some of you missed out on all the rain and storms yesterday. I know at my house, probably picked up half an inch or more of rainfall in about 10 minutes. And that's just how intense that rain was actually coming down. Going to the evening commute there. And then this is when we're still dealing with periods of heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe that hail threat. Things start to wind down a little bit as we go into your later Tuesday evening hours. And then potentially overnight, maybe a shower, rumble of thunder, kind of probably what we woke up to. Similar to this morning is what we're anticipating tomorrow. We'll probably have some areas of fog. Temperatures should fall into those low to mid 60s again for Wednesday morning. And then tomorrow, partly, maybe mostly cloudy. I think it's going to be one of our drier days as we go through the week. Temps will be in the mid to upper 70s, and then eventually we'll hit the 80s. But just going with a 20% chance of showers and storms tomorrow. It will be the driest day, hands down, that we've seen so far this work and school week. And then that just kind of continues, expecting a totally dry day. I know what a novel concept that is, a totally dry day here in May. That's actually going to be your Thursday, and then we'll talk more about Friday and the weekend here in a second. But temperatures right now, you can see the influence of some of that rainfall there in Russellville as well as Moulton, as their temps are in the mid 60s, where everyone else is just a little bit warmer in the upper 60s to low 70s. Highs today will actually warm up into the low to mid 70s, which is below average. I think we're at 81 or 82 according to our climate averages. But look at the chance for rain and storms there, 40, 50%. Again, this is going to be widely scattered. No promise of stronger storm moving through your neighborhood or over your house later on. Just have to give you that heads up that things will be scattered. Okay, so Thursday is mostly dry. Thursday will be the hottest day of the week with highs in the mid to upper 80s here. This is going to be Friday. Friday looking mostly cloudy, probably a pretty breezy day too. And you might have seen some chatter maybe on some of those weather pages on Facebook or something like that, talking about huge, widespread, multi-day outbreak of severe weather. We're certainly paying attention to this. We don't take any chance of strong to severe storms lightly, obviously, but there's a couple things that could really limit exactly how strong to severe these storms get and how many days we have to deal with it. It's based on a front coming in, and we're kind of on the tail end of that front. So I really think on Friday through the evening overnight hours, the more significant, substantial severe weather threat will actually stay to our north. But this is several days out. Obviously something we're going to continue to watch very closely here. It's our job to give you that first alert, that heads up. No first alert weather day or anything like that yet. Here's Friday at noon. Temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s, very humid, kind of breezy day. And then we start tracking those storms. Now this is where that kind of severe weather threat could potentially develop over the Mississippi River there into the boot heel of Arkansas, Missouri rather, over portions of Arkansas. And this starts to come in as we go into late Friday evening. And again, this is based on that front coming in. The timing can change a bit. It could be a little faster, a little slower. But at the very least, we're probably looking at some periods of heavy rainfall coming in. And those storms kind of dropping from the northwest to the southeast as that front moves in. Now, some models have the front just moving in, and that's kind of it. Others, like the one I'm showing you, the European model, kind of keeps things around. And that would mean more periods of showers and storms as we go into Saturday morning. potentially letting up into Saturday afternoon, and then more activity firing up or convection to our south. And then we go into midnight now. This is now Sunday morning. We've got another round of showers and storms kind of parked over the same area. So even if we don't have a severe weather threat per se materializing, it looks like a heavy rain threat will certainly need to be monitored here too. And then we just kind of continue to keep those showers and storms in the forecast. Weekends are important. We haven't had a decent weekend in a while. I'm watching this forecast just as closely as you are, so we'll continue to keep you posted on that, of course. Forecast rainfall, this is going to be that graph model just for the storms we're expecting today, as well as through parts of the day tomorrow. This is kind of generalized because it goes off the specific storm tracks that I showed you on that graph model run. Well, as you know, with the storms we saw yesterday or even over the weekend, if you get caught under one of these storms, like I did yesterday, and you get that half an inch of rain, obviously that blows the model data out of the water. So something we're watching. Heavy rain continues to be a threat. We've got saturated soils, so it's not always, the flooding threat is still there potentially, especially as we go through that evening commute. So pollen forecast, it's low. My nose and my itchy eyes would say otherwise, but according to the numbers, it is low for the grass and the tree pollen there, oak and hickory still, and then bumping up a little bit for Thursday and Friday, those drier days. Remember, those showers and storms hold off until Friday evening. And here's that big picture, and you see that well-defined counterclockwise rotation around that center of low pressure. A lot of heavy rain through the mid-Atlantic now tracking to the northeast too. And we're on the backside now, so we get that kind of wraparound effect, and that's where those showers and storms will continue to come in as we go through the day today. So for tonight, I think the widespread threat for storms will start to wrap up once we kind of get into the darkness hours, if you will. 62 overnight, a chance of some lingering showers, maybe some thunder, something we'll continue to keep an eye on. I think we'll have more fog to deal with. And then as we go through the day tomorrow, this is Wednesday, one of the drier days, still expecting some periods of showers, yes, but in general, compared to what we had yesterday and what we're forecasting for today, and temperature should be in the 80s. We're kind of partly to mostly cloudy, maybe some isolated showers or a rumble of thunder or two. And really all we're expecting, you see that 20% chance of rain and storms tomorrow. The wording there says isolated storms. 88 then on Thursday. The only day that doesn't have a chance of rain is Thursday. Partly cloudy, a lot of heat, humidity, feeling almost summer-like there. And then Friday, a good portion of the day should be dry, watching for that potential threat of strong to severe storms coming in at Friday evening. That's dependent on, of course, not only the model data, but how this evolves the closer we get to it. We get that more high-resolution data coming in. We'll have a much better grasp on things, but have to keep the mention of showers and storms in. Showed you the weekend forecast on the long-range models, and that's what they were keeping in the forecast was rain and storms. So keep an eye on that weekend forecast. Into next week, we actually have another front coming in, and hopefully once that one pushes through, we don't only get a little dip in temperatures, but maybe a dry stretch of weather. That again, I'm asking an awful lot from Mother Nature here to not give us a day or two without pouring rain or strong to severe storms. I'm okay with rain if it comes without the hail and the wind threat, but that's kind of everything I've got for you on this Tuesday. Again, I'll be on Tennessee Valley Living with Peyton Walker at 11 o'clock and our new newscast with Gina Benitez. So keep an eye on the radar, your 48 weather app through the afternoon. Some storms just like yesterday popping up, should be scattered in nature. Heavy rain, lightning, the gusty winds, the hail threat. Mostly dry tomorrow. Temps warming up for Thursday, and then watching the important forecast coming in for Friday night and as we go into Saturday and Sunday. So plenty of updates to follow on that. Hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. Thanks for joining us as always for Weather Extra. Appreciate your time, and TVL at noon. We'll see you then. Thank you.